All right, what's good with y'all? It's your boy Ochi from the Woe Clan, and we're back with another video. This time, we are reacting to the harsh truth about the GOAT debate. Now, I know it's been a minute, y'all. I've been taking a break for about a week, and I'm back on it. I'm back to it. I'm back like I never left. You feel me? I've been reacting to a lot of music lately. I'm gonna take a little break on that, and then we're gonna react to some sports stuff. So, I seen this, bro. I seen Flight react to it and Cash Nasty, so I was like, okay, this is gonna be a good video. The harsh truth about the GOAT debate. Now, I feel like I'm a LeBron fan, but just being realistic, I feel like Jordan still has the title. But once LeBron is finished with his career, like it's really up in the air at that point because LeBron is going to accomplish so much in his career. So I can't wait to see what he has to say. I've seen him before. He has some really good takes. He really goes into depth and to detail about these type of situations. So we're going to go ahead and click on this, stop wasting your time, and let's get straight to it.
To get the fresh 14 for the Lakers.
Like, that right there is insane, bro. You're 19. You're 19.
It's never going to end, is it? LeBron's reign over the NBA. I've just come to the conclusion that LeBron has hacked into the Matrix and has transcended aging. LeBron is in his 19th NBA season and is somehow still one of the best players on the planet. This isn't supposed to happen. 99% of NBA players peak in their mid to late 20s and then slowly regress as they age, eventually becoming a liability to their team and inevitably sailing off into the sunset, washed up and content with their achievements.
Facts.
But not LeBron. The man is fighting his age like he's got a grudge on time itself. And the more he piles up on these mind-bending feats, the more we must ask ourselves the question, and I really hate to do this, but is LeBron the greatest basketball player of all time? And if he isn't, what would he need to do to truly, once and for all, be the GOAT?
We all start from somewhere. That's facts.
About 5 years ago, I uploaded my first basketball-related video onto this channel. The title of that video, Is LeBron the GOAT? You can still watch this video today, but since it's an absolute dog water of a production, I highly recommend you steer clear of it. To summarize the video, I gave 10 reasons why LeBron would retire as the GOAT. Fast forward 5 years and thousands of hours of watching games, collecting data, and gathering context in this sport that we love. I've since changed my ways and realized that Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time.
Yeah.
But my original assessment from 5 years ago hasn't completely changed. Because I never said LeBron was the GOAT at the time. I just gave 10 reasons why LeBron would retire as the GOAT. But ever since I dropped that video, I've pretty much avoided the GOAT conversation altogether. I've put a spin on the idea of the greatest players in certain aspects of the game. I've talked about the greatest scorers, I've ranked players using purely numbers, but I've never really broken down who the greatest player is, in my opinion, because I just feel like the topic is a bit redundant. And ESPN already gives you a daily update on the GOAT debate anyway,
drawn out,
so
bro.
no
It's
need
overplayed.
for me to do it. But I think it's time we
Saturated.
discuss this. Because what LeBron is doing at this point in his career is just absurd.
Yeah.
At the moment, there are pretty much 3 different camps on the whole GOAT debate. People who think Michael Jordan is the GOAT,
Yeah.
people who think LeBron is the GOAT, and people who
People
are wrong.
think Will Chamberlain is a GOAT.
Michael Jordan is the GOAT, people who think LeBron is the GOAT, and people who are wrong. I'd say about 75% of people fall into the MJ's the GOAT category,
Right.
about 20% of people fall into the LeBron's the GOAT category, and about 5% fall into the other category. Usually these other fans believe the GOAT is Wilt or Kobe or Kareem. There's not many of them, but boy, will they die on that hill.
They will
See,
die on
the
that
thing here
hill,
is that
boy.
a lot of the fans in MJ's corner believe that he is and will forever be the GOAT. But realistically, is there anything LeBron can do to surpass him? I mean, there's gotta be some sort of objective metric we can use to distinguish the greatest player of all time. No opinions, no bias, just the facts. If LeBron somehow won 4 more championships and retired with 8 rings, he'd undoubtedly be the GOAT. Right?
Why does he have to have 8?
There are paths for him to become the greatest ever. But where does that threshold lie? And what would LeBron have to achieve to get there?
Casuals fans.
First, let's just take a look at the basic numbers. Between Michael and LeBron, LeBron has more career points, rebounds, assists.
You can't look at those though, because Of course, he put in more time than Jordan.
Assists, blocks, more triple doubles, higher field goal percentage, and a higher three-point percentage. And Michael has more steals and a higher free throw percentage. But this whole argument, the career totals argument, is only useful in demonstrating LeBron's longevity and sustained excellence. These numbers don't prove that LeBron's a better scorer, or rebounder, or defender, or shooter than Jordan. They just prove that LeBron's been good at these things for a very, very long time. These numbers also show just how versatile LeBron is, possibly his most valuable asset. So instead,
I feel like Jordan's peak is probably the highest, bro. Like, well, can't even say that. After watching all these Wilt videos, I feel like Wilt Chamberlain's peak might be the highest, but Michael Jordan's peak is very, very, very high, but for a short amount of time. LeBron is literally, he is like right under Jordan when it comes to peaks, but he sustained that peak for a longer period of time. So it's like, it's really
instead of looking at career
ends.
totals, let's look at career averages. Michael averages more points and more steals.
Still impressive on LeBron's end, though.
Rebounds. And as much as it pains me
look at it, like, okay, so he scores like 3 more points than he does. Look at the rebounds here. Look at the assists here. Steals, boards. No, is that blocks? Yes, blocks. Field goal 51%, free throw, of course, Jordan got that. And really the free throw is really what elevates them points if you think about it. You know what I'm saying? And 3-point, of course, LeBron gonna be better because of today's game. But yeah, I mean, it's still, that's what I'm saying, like their peaks are very similar, bro.
To say this is usually where the argument for the GOAT ends for most people. Throw in a required comment about their finals records and you pretty much have a condensed version of most GOAT debates.
Right.
But there is so much more to unpack here. So let's unpack it.
We unpacking. Advanced stats, this channel's best friend. Ooh,
so y'all know how much I like advanced stats. They don't tell the full story,
Like
but if you know which ones to look for, you can discover some nuances in a player's game that you won't get by just watching them play. Player efficiency rating, win shares per 48, offensive box plus minus, defensive box plus minus, value over replacement, and true shooting percentage. These 6 advanced stats give us efficiency, production, value, impact, and pretty much everything in between. And in these 6 advanced statistics, Michael Jordan exceeds LeBron in 5 of them. He's more efficient overall. He contributes.
Yo, that's tough on LeBron's case. But it's not even that far off though. Like I just said, like their peaks are very close, bro. Like if you look at it, okay, you look at wins, right? Of course, Jordan has more, like, he wins more often. That's obvious, right? But look at this. Just off by a little bit. Just off by a little bit, bro. That's what I'm saying. Their peaks are just
more wins.
They're similar.
He contributes to more points.
He's
better on defense, and he is generally more valuable on the court than LeBron is. The only advanced stat where LeBron tops Jordan is true shooting percentage. Now, in terms of who's a better basketball player, nearly every metric points to Michael Jordan. But really take a look at these numbers, and it's actually uncanny just how close LeBron is to MJ across the board. Just a fraction behind Jordan in pretty much everything. But these numbers aren't even addressing who's greater, because that conversation would involve accolades and accomplishments and impact on the game. Take away the rings, the influence, the intangibles, the opinions, and it's virtually objectively true that Michael was a better basketball player than LeBron. But the GOAT debate isn't necessarily about who is the better player. It's about who is the greatest player. We've got some more unpacking to do.
Anything you can do, I can do better. Sheesh.
Now, we cannot have a thorough GOAT debate without discussing the accomplishments of each player. Numbers are cool and they have their purpose, but numbers are...
Now, I don't know about Jordan, but I know LeBron got snubbed a couple times on a couple different accolades, like Defensive Player of the Year, a couple MVPs, like 2018. He most definitely should have had that MVP over Harden. And I'm pretty sure there's other MVPs he could have had. You know what I'm saying? Most definitely got snubbed.
Alone aren't indicative of greatness. They're just a vehicle to greatness. This is why, despite James Harden spending half a decade piling up some of the greatest scoring numbers in NBA history, most people don't consider him greater than some players with far less
excellent score, but it's
the numbers complement the accolades, not the other way around. This is also why I consider Wilt Chamberlain to have been a better basketball player than Bill Russell, but Bill Russell was greater than Wilt. He achieved his greatness through his numbers, whereas Russell achieved his greatness by contributing to an unrelenting style of winning basketball. So let's take a look at the accomplishments of both Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Now, there are plenty of other awards a player can earn in the NBA, but these are the ones that really stand out on a player's resume. Championships, Finals MVPs, regular season MVPs, Defensive Player of the Year, All NBA selections, and All Defensive Team selections. And amongst these 6 categories, Jordan beats LeBron in 5 of them. And Michael accomplished all of this in just 15 seasons to LeBron's full 18 seasons. The only category where LeBron outperformed Michael is in All NBA selections.
Y'all don't hear my take on that? I feel like, bro, like The Last Dance really taught me something about Jordan, like Jordan's legacy. If you really think about it, I don't think it helped his legacy at all. Like Last Dance, I don't think it helped it. I think that actually opened my eyes to something here. Jordan really had a system, bro. It was like a system of you know, we keep this nucleus, we keep this system of play, we're gonna win championships. Once that got kind of shaky, he dipped, bro. Now the first time he retired, I can understand he had issues. You know, he had family issues. I can understand why he retired the first time. The second time didn't make sense. Bro won Finals MVP, All-Star MVP, a championship the year he retired. That means he still has some left in the tank. And Jordan did mention in The Last Dance, he was like, oh, I wish I could have won 8. Right there. If you got 6, you wish you would have won 8. Why didn't you just stay in the league? You know why he didn't stay? It's because they traded Scottie Pippen. Phil Jackson left. Now you're the only one on the Chicago Bulls, and you either have to rebuild or you have to get traded to a different team and try to work in a different system, a different environment, in a different culture of how people play. Now you're Michael Jordan, so of course they're gonna try to attend to your play style, but it's not gonna be how the Bulls was. You get what I'm saying? Because you had the Scottie Pippen, you had the Dennis Rodman, you had the Phil Jackson, and people like to say, oh, Jordan made Phil Jackson. You got to really think about rotations and schemes and, you know, the triangle offense. I think they had the triangle offense before Phil came in, but the triangle offense was perfect for Jordan. Like, think about Harden, right? Harden was a 6-man on the OKC Thunder, right? He went to Houston Rockets under D'Antoni's system of play and became an MVP caliber player because it's a system that worked for Harden. Jordan on the Bulls, with the system that they run, was perfect for Michael Jordan. LeBron is the system. You get what I'm saying? And LeBron had different teammates. I think that's more difficult than being consistent with the same teammates because the chemistry is there. You get what I'm saying? There's a system in place versus LeBron where it's like different teammates getting switched out almost every year. You know what I'm saying? Now that's his fault, but at the same time, that's more difficult. That's all I had to say about Jordan when it comes to his 6. It was a consistent 6. He wanted 8, but he was like, nah, I'm done. And then want to come back when he like 40. Nah, that makes sense.
This is an accomplishment of longevity more than anything else, which at this point seems to be the overall theme in the GOAT debate. Up to this point in his career, the majority of fans will agree that LeBron has been a step below Jordan in terms of greatness. So now the race to become the GOAT has become a marathon, because eventually the sheer volume of LeBron's career numbers and achievements may become so overwhelming that we'll have no choice but to concede that he is in fact the greatest player of all time.
That's crazy,
which brings us to a real dilemma in this age-old debate. The flame that burns twice as bright burns half as long. A great quote by the ancient Chinese philosopher Lao Tzu regarding the idea of excellence and the sustainability of it. Almost as if you can have longevity or be exceptional, but you can't have both. Now, in the world of basketball and sports in general, usually being exceptional translates to longevity and vice versa. Michael Jordan was excellent for 13 seasons in the NBA. His flame was violently bright and it burned for quite some time. But what if there was a flame that burned about 95% as bright and lasted much longer?
You see what I'm saying? At a certain point,
the radiance of even the brightest flame is outclassed by the flame that just won't quit.
Bro, because like LeBron is literally right there when it come to peak. Like if you think about Miami Heat LeBron, that is like probably one of the best basketball. Bro, come on. Miami Heat LeBron was dumb. Was insane. Plus 2018 LeBron, insane. And it really any version of LeBron is insane, bro.
Of course, LeBron isn't a flame. He's a 6'9", 250-pound freak of nature in basketball shoes, but his light shines about 95% as bright as Michael Jordan's did, and it's lasting a whole lot longer.
Right.
When does the longevity of LeBron's brilliance simply outmatch the slightly greater but much shorter brilliance of Michael? Because as we've discussed, Mike trumps LeBron in pretty much every single metric other than longevity and overall production.
Yeah.
So the real question here is, how much longer will LeBron have to be excellent before the majority agrees that he is greater than Michael was? The man is in his 19th NBA season, and he's leading the NBA in scoring. He's still a top 5 player in the league, and his bag is getting deeper and deeper with every season.
Yo.
Here's a chart of LeBron's total points, assists, and rebound averages throughout each season of his career. Each point on the graph represents the total average of points, assists, and rebounds for every season of his career. So, for example, this season LeBron is putting up 8, 6, and 30 a game, so his total for the season
8, 6,
is
and
44.
30?
Now, in the NBA, anything above a total of 40 is exceptional. LeBron's total production has exceeded 40 in 17 different seasons. Now here's Michael's total average points, assists, and rebounds for every season of his career.
Look at that chart. Now his career ended in 15. So if you look at the 13, well, look from 3 to I guess 12.
Is by far the greatest argument in favor of LeBron in the GOAT debate.
Interesting.
The man has simply sustained excellence for longer than Mike did. And although the numbers are just a vehicle to greatness, there has got to be a point where the numbers are just too glaring to ignore. LeBron's numbers are getting to that point. But some fans will argue that there were other players that were still really good this late in their career. You mean like Kareem? Or
Slow down, bro. Do you see Kareem's numbers on his left side? It goes past the charts. Am I missing something here? Should we be talking about Kareem? What did he drop his second and third year in the league, bro? This is insane. Are we not going to talk about this? Like, what?
Kobe or Karl Malone?
Okay, look at Kobe's. Look at that. They all declined in this 12, 13 year point.
They weren't even close.
Crazy.
LeBron's already the only player to be a part of the 30K, 10K, 10K club. Aside from a freak injury, he'll undoubtedly break Kareem's scoring record. He'll probably play the most seasons in an NBA career. He already has the record for most All-NBA selections, and he's still adding to what is probably the longest career highlight reel with moments like this.
Sheesh.
If LeBron is still doing this in a couple years, while still putting up All-NBA numbers, I really think it's going to be difficult to say that he's not the greatest player ever.
USAA is made for the safe pilots, like Sergeant Hayden, who won't return a call until the engine's cool. With USAA,
Never lost. I never lost.
You know what? I'm just gonna say it. While LeBron's legacy is growing as he plays more seasons, Michael's legacy would have been slightly diminished if he played more seasons. Of course, this isn't a matter of fact, but all the evidence points towards this assumption. Michael Jordan retiring after playing just 13 NBA seasons in 1998 was the best thing he could have ever done for his legacy.
Yeah,
the Bulls were not going to win another championship.
It's a pretty ass legacy, bro. 6-0, that's a pretty ass legacy. But it's like, again, he retired.
And the backbone of the dynasty he had built had all but vanished by the beginning of the 1999
he talking about it.
season.
See, bro, I swear.
The Bulls were not going to win another championship, and the backbone of the dynasty he had built had all but vanished by the beginning of the 1999 season. If he had played through that 3-year retirement gap from 1999 to 2001, he would have either stayed with the Bulls and put up huge numbers on a losing team, or signed with a different team and chased rings. Both options being far less illustrious than him going out on top with the team that drafted him. Michael's career was the perfect storm. He was drafted by a franchise that was ready and willing to build around him. He was on a roster that suited his skill sets extremely well. And he and the Bulls peaked right as the dominant teams from the 80s and early 90s, like the Lakers, Celtics, and Pistons, began to fade away.
They faded.
You could not have written a better career if you tried.
Like, the cards were dealt perfectly for Jordan, bro. Stop. Now watch when he talk about LeBron. Watch when he talk about LeBron.
On the other hand, despite his success, LeBron really got the short end of the deal many times throughout his career. He spent his first 7 seasons in the NBA playing for a team that could not have cared less about building a coherent team around him. He spent 4 straight finals going toe-to-toe with the most dominant dynasty in modern NBA history.
Four times. And then they added Kevin Durant to Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and a solid bench. Don't act like they bench wasn't solid. Livingston and all them, bro. Come on. And they have great chemistry and they have like a Spurs like ball movement, bro. That's a great team. He played them 4 times. First year, Kyrie hurt. Kevin Love hurt. No, the second year they won that. That's a 3-1 year. They added KD. Kyrie left. Look how inconsistent it is. He only had Kyrie and Kevin Love consistently for 2 years. And one of those years, Kevin Durant came. If Kevin Durant didn't come, bro, he would have won them. If Kevin Durant never went to the damn Warriors, he would have won. Bro, LeBron would have so many rings right now. Bro, come on.
Jordan's Bulls. While Michael was surrounded by players who were all willing to buy into their system, LeBron has spent many years carrying the load of bad rosters and seemingly incompetent teammates. Part of which is his own fault for trying to play GM and putting together piss-poor rosters.
I give him that.
And I bring up these small nuances because the GOAT debate is very nuanced. As much as people want to act like the whole 6-0 in the finals is the end-all be-all to the discussion,
Can't be.
it's just not. If rings were all that mattered, then Bill Russell would be the GOAT. Oh, but he played a long time ago. That doesn't count.
No,
okay.
Wait. All my Will Chamberlain fans, this should count because y'all said this was a great era. The 60s was a great era. So him getting 11 rings, that should count. Don't matter how many teams was in there. And it was tougher because it was lesser teams. That's what y'all told me. Doesn't matter. Bill Russell should be the GOAT.
Well, then Robert Horry is the GOAT because he has 7 rings to Jordan's 6.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but Horry wasn't the
Will Chamberlain got 2. So what did that tell you?
best player on any of those championships. Okay, so is the argument about rings, or is it about being the best player on the court, or a mixture of both? Is a player's performance, despite how masterful it was, all in vain if his team loses? The line becomes less and less clear the deeper you dig. No single metric can be used to determine this debate. And the unpacking of every small minute detail is a necessary burden. But unfortunately, it's a burden that most fans won't bother to take on.
The not so undisputed GOAT.
At the moment, I personally believe Michael Jordan is the greatest basketball player of all time. I also think he's the best basketball player of all time. But unlike some fans, I don't think the door has closed on LeBron. I think that if LeBron can continue to dominate the league for a few more seasons and continue to shatter our previous notions of what we thought was possible in a single NBA career, I think that he has a chance to retire as the greatest player of all time. But of course, only time will tell. And fortunately for LeBron, time seems to perpetually be on his side.
Yeah. That was good. That was good, my boy. Yes, sir. What y'all think about that, man? What do y'all think about that? There's a lot of gems in there. I'm not gonna talk about it because I already talked about it through the video. A lot of gems. Right now, MJ's the GOAT, but when LeBron's career is done, LeBron got it, bro. It's undisputable. Can't bring up rings. You just gotta bring up the facts, bro, and the stats. LeBron got it, bro. It's impressive. But yeah, man, it's your boy Ochi from the Woe Clan, and I'm out.